Why is it that what has worked for us all of our life now, as we head into perimenopause and menopause, just doesn't seem to be doing the trick for us anymore, whether it be because of the weight gain that's happening, even though you're not doing anything different, mood swings, low libido, even though you're desperately in love with your partner, dry skin, even though you're moisturizing every day, joint pain, even though you're taking your omega-3s and eating your healthy anti-inflammatory diet, headaches, hot flashes, vaginal dryness, all of those side effects that are associated with hormone decline that we have to deal with in menopause. And a lot of the things that we're doing, we're trying to eat a healthy diet, or we're meditating, we're going to the gym, we're doing our breath work, we are taking our supplements, and still it seems like it's nearly impossible to get through this stage of life without, putting on some pounds or feel like you're losing your mind. And I'm here to tell you that there are solutions, and there's definitely things you can do. And so the question I get a lot of time is, what about hormone replacement therapy? Is it safe? I've heard a lot of things. Does it cause cancer? When's the best time to start hormone replacement? Do I have to wait till I'm in menopause, or can I start in perimenopause? What if I'm too old? What if I'm over 65? Can I still use hormones? What if my family has a history of breast cancer? Where does that leave me? What about stroke? What about if I had a surgical menopause, if I've been through chemotherapy, if I'm only 30? And I've had a surgical menopause, like, where does that leave me? And those are a lot of questions I get. And also, is it just about hormones? Do I also have to do the lifestyle part too? And that's very important. Like, what is the best nutrition? What is the best exercise? Do I need supplements, right? And so whether you are currently in menopause, or if you are in perimenopause and kind of dealing with the roller coaster of hormone fluctuations, or if you're pre-perimenopause, if you're just kind of thinking ahead and you're joining us now, you're in the right place, because I'm going to break it all down. I'm going to answer all your questions, and we're going to have a great time here tonight. And so most of the people on here right now, and you can tell me in the chat if this is right, most of you are thinking about hormone replacement. You might be trying to learn about menopause. You might be trying to figure out if your symptoms are due to menopause or something else. And then some people who have written in, they want to know more about our Healthy Hormone Club. How does it work? What makes it different? So I'm going to talk about that just a little bit. And then we're going to, of course, answer all of your questions about safety and different types of hormone replacement and menopause symptoms and how to know if it's menopause, right? So we'll go through all of that. But, our Healthy Hormone Club I actually created this program to make hormone replacement accessible and affordable. And what I mean by that is there are many parts in this country that do not have any doctors that have any training in women's hormones and menopause. And most of you have heard this fact before, but some of you have not. Less than 20% of licensed doctors, including OBGYNs, less than 20% of them have had any training on female hormone replacement therapy or menopause or perimenopause. You have to go after you graduate medical school for that training. And so, unfortunately, a lot of women don't have access to a doctor that even understands hormones or is willing to have that conversation with her. And I think it's really important for women to have that opportunity. Whether they take it or not, that is their own choice, but they have to at least have the choice. So that's one of the reasons why I created the Healthy Hormone Club. We service women all over the United States, all over Canada, UK, Australia, New Zealand, and most English-speaking countries. And we have a team of doctors, nurse practitioners, registered nurses, and health coaches that are highly trained in menopause, perimenopause, and hormone replacement therapy that you get access to. So how the program works is when you sign up, you can pay for a year in advance, or you can just do it monthly. And your monthly fee actually includes all of your testing, all of your appointments, all of your hormones, and the hormone shipping to your house. And you get to do check-in appointments whenever you want. And so how it works is when you start, you fill out a questionnaire. It's basically your general health information, things that we need to know about your menstrual health and past hormone use and your symptoms as they relate to hormones and what medications you're on and all of that. And so we review that, and most people will qualify for hormone replacement. But if you don't, for some reason, we will tell you that, and then we will make other recommendations for you, but you won't have to stay in the program. And of course, we'd refund your money if you've already paid. But once you fill out that questionnaire, assuming like 90% of the women that fill it out, you are approved, then we will ship you an at-home hormone test kit. It's a saliva test kit that will measure your levels of free and circulating estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. Because that's what we need to know in order to replace your hormones back to healthy levels. We need to know, where are you at right now? Now, if you're a cycling woman, so if you are still getting your period, we'll instruct you at the correct time in your cycle to take that test, because hormones do fluctuate throughout the month. And then we'll also tell you what time of day to take the test, because hormones fluctuate throughout the day. That is the argument that so many doctors out there have when they say why they don't test hormones. They say, well, because women's hormones fluctuate. And yes, they do, but we still need to have the data, and we have patterns in our hormones. And so we're able to see, are your hormone levels normal for your stage of life, and are they optimal for you as a woman, and what symptoms do you have? We also look at over 75 symptoms at that time too, and we evaluate which symptoms are related to which hormone deficiency. And with all that information, plus your goals and what you want for yourself, you will meet with the hormone specialist and go over your test results, explain what they mean, and then also come up with a hormone replacement plan for you, and some holistic lifestyle strategies as well. So your hormones, your lifestyle strategies, and that's customized specific to you. So it's not an algorithm. So many of these other online hormone clinics, you never get to speak to a real person. You fill out a form and they use an algorithm to determine what your dose is. And then you never get any check-in appointments or anything like that. With us, we treat you like a real person, and we are real people, and you get to meet with a hormone specialist as much as you want. You can chat with them. You can get on a Zoom call with them. You can get on a phone call with them, and really work through anything that needs to be worked through. If you're having any struggles or any concerns, we really want to make sure that you as a woman feel supported. And so that is kind of how the Healthy Hormone Club works. We test your hormones every 4 to 6 months. We have 2 different levels of Healthy Hormone Club. So most people are testing their hormones every 4 months, but we do offer us every 6 months as well. And all your hormones are shipped to your door. They're regularly shipped out based on your dosing schedule. So we know when you're going to need a new bottle. You don't even have to do anything. You just take your hormones and call it a day. And we use topical hormone creams in our practice. And the reason for that is because they are the safest. So if you've heard any rumors or any studies out there about hormone replacement therapy causing stroke, hormone replacement therapy causing elevated heart attack risk, or anything like that, if that is oral hormones, because they have to go through your liver, and then they create clotting factors. So topical hormones have the least side effects. They're easiest to adjust dosing if needed, and they're the safest. And so that's how our Healthy Hormone Club works. And so, yeah, it's actually really convenient. It's awesome. It's less than like a copay, and you can meet with hormone specialists as much as you want. And the reason why I created it, like I said, was for accessibility, but also affordability. I feel that every woman, regardless of her socioeconomic status, should be able to get her hormones replaced. And so we try to make it as affordable as possible without having to go out of business. So I see some chats coming in. So I'm just going to kind of look in there in the chat. So this can be more of a conversation than just me talking at you. Okay, my daughter put me on bioidenticals, and after a couple of months, it flipped me back into an awful second menopause. So I stopped. Is there a common explanation for this kind of occurrence, or was it just the wrong dosage? Well, my answer to that would be, did you have your hormones tested prior to dosing? And then were you just put on a standard dose? There are some clinics out there, and we've seen women come into our practice feeling absolutely horrible on their hormone replacement. And we look, and they are on ridiculous dosing. We always dose our hormones for our women in our practice at physiological levels. So what I mean by physiological levels, that is a level that the female body would naturally have in her system, that the body could have made back when you were cycling. Now, some of these clinics, they are giving 10, 50, 100 times that dose. And of course, you're not going to feel good. I don't know why they think this is a good idea, but I've seen crazy things. I've seen women come in on male levels of testosterone and have hair loss, weight gain, being irritable, and they don't know why. And then I look at their hormone levels and I'm like, well, you're doing this to yourself. Like someone is doing this to you. So definitely, if you've been on hormone replacement before and it was not customized specifically to you and your symptoms and your hormone levels, then I would say I would definitely consider, if you're having symptoms right now, I would consider it again. And maybe with a practice that is going to be more customizable to you. Definitely, I'm a big fan of hormone testing. I know it's controversial because a lot of doctors think that doesn't make sense to test hormones. Actually, the standard of care here in the United States is not to test hormones, but the standard practices for a lot of medical trials and studies is not even to include women because women are too confusing because we have a menstrual cycle. So if you ever see clinical trials for medications or for nutrients where they include women in the study, they only started including women in like 1992. Before 1992, no women were in any of the studies. So we'd be being prescribed medications that were never actually studied on women. This is the case with statins. And I won't get into that conversation right now, but when they do include women in the studies, they put them on the birth control pill to take away their natural cycle. So that's a standard in the United States. And so that's not my way of doing things. And a lot of my colleagues feel the same way, that just because women's cycles fluctuate and our hormones fluctuate doesn't mean that we can't test their hormones to see where they're at. We have ranges for our tests, whether you're in the luteal phase, the follicular phase, whether you're in menopause, if you're on hormone replacement. And so we take all that into account, and it's not just one number that we're looking for. Awesome. Pleased to be here 5 years in menopause. We're so happy that you are here. And if you haven't been on one of my Q&As before, I do really like to make this interactive, and it's not formal, definitely not a sales pitch. Well, I do have the Healthy Hormone Club where we support women with hormone replacement therapy. I am a cheerleader for you to get help however you see fit. If you have a doctor who is open to hormone replacement therapy and they actually are testing your hormones and they're really adjusting your dose as needed and they're giving you what you want, I applaud that. If you do not want to use hormones at all and you want to use supplements and lifestyle, and that's really what you want to do, I appreciate that too, and I support you. So I think that my thing is that women should have a choice. And what really angers me is when women go to their doctor and they ask about hormones and their doctor's like, I don't believe in hormones, or, oh, you don't need hormones. Hormones for younger women. That really irritates me because when you think about it, it's a deficiency, right? So when we go through menopause, we have an estrogen deficiency, we have a progesterone deficiency. Sometimes we might have a testosterone deficiency. Sometimes we might have a testosterone excess, but it's a problem. Any other hormone in your body, if you have an insulin deficiency, you get prescribed insulin. If you have a thyroid deficiency, you get prescribed thyroid. Women have a hormone deficiency. It's just, oh, well, let's just deal with it. But the problem is it's not really the hot flashes. Yeah, that sucks. It's not really the weight gain. That's unfortunate. It's not the hair loss, the wrinkles, or the joint pain. All those things are frustrating. But the real problem is the fact that women who do not replace their hormones have a shorter lifespan. They have a higher risk of getting heart disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, osteoporosis, and the list goes on. And so women who are not on hormone replacement therapy tend to have a less active life. They tend to get depression more, anxiety more. And so those are the things that I'm most concerned with long-term health. And you might wonder why I'm so passionate about hormone replacement therapy and menopause and anti-aging. Well, one of the reasons is because I was diagnosed with primary ovarian failure when I was 20 years old. So I was told, your ovaries are done. I was basically in menopause, I was told. And I had all the symptoms. I had hot flashes, weight gain, joint pain, fatigue. It was horrible. And I believed that for many years. And it turns out it was a false diagnosis. I just had a lot of other health issues that were causing my ovaries to not work. But I experienced how poorly women are treated in this situation, how much there's no solutions given, only medications. And where was I going with that? Oh, so the why I'm so passionate is because I finally turned my health around, and all the undiagnosed autoimmune disease and undiagnosed celiac disease and heavy metal toxicity and parasites and all the things I dealt with that were causing this misdiagnosis of ovarian failure. I dealt with all that, and I ended up having my son at like 40 years old. And so he's 8 now, I'm 48, and I want to be around for a very long time. So I'm really like personally invested in living to 100, 120. And so I'm really interested in all of the longevity producing, the anti-aging, the increasing lifespan aspects of hormone replacement. And because I'm starting when I am still in my 40s in the perimenopause time, I likely won't have a lot of the symptoms that women get in menopause if they don't replace their hormones. So I'm kind of course, like anything, just like if you're saving for retirement, it's always better to start when you're in your 20s and start saving money. And then by the time you get to retirement age, you've got a bunch of money. But if you never did that and you start at age 60, saving for retirement, that's still better than if you don't save at all. And the same thing is with hormone replacement. If you start right when you enter perimenopause, that's awesome. That's probably like the best thing that you can possibly do. The problem is that no one's warned about this. For some reason, it happens to 50% of the population, but nobody tells us about our hormones are going to go down. No one tells us about perimenopause or menopause. It's like this big surprise. And so, yes, that is the best time to do it, but it's also a great time to do it when you're 50, 55, 60, 65. There's no age limit as long as you're replacing your hormones in the right way, with the right dose, if you're testing your hormones and you're using the right delivery method. In this case, I'd recommend topical hormones. Okay, let's see. I've got a couple other questions. Cheryl, hello. Awesome. Lots of questions. You take Daily Glow and Glow PM and Glow Below. Awesome. I need to know which supplements I need and which I need to keep taking. Do I need to take Dramamine if I get sardines? Oh, do I need to take, I can't really answer that because I don't know like your personal situation. If I eat sardines every day, do I need fish oil? Actually, no. If you eat sardines every day, you actually don't need to take fish oil supplement. So if you eat fatty fish 3 times a week, then you probably don't need an omega-3 unless you're dealing with a lot of inflammation. Also, can my husband take the Glow supplements? Yes, my husband takes all the Glow supplements too. Well, not Glow because that's the vaginal hydration, so he doesn't need that. But like Daily Glow and Glow PM, my husband takes those all the time. And then we have a new vitamin D supplement coming out very shortly, so he'll take that as well. Also, I'm a new member of the Hormonal Club and Global. Welcome. So if you're in the Glow protocol, we're going to do a complete intake on you, and we will be able to tell you exactly which supplements you need to be taking, which ones you can get rid of, and then how to use food as well. So the Glow protocol is our natural medicine lifestyle program where we go through all the systems of the body and how to improve your gut health and detoxification and like what work on lifestyle medicine. And then the Healthy Hormone Club is where we do the hormone replacement. We also will give you some general recommendations on supplements to help you with sleep or energy or weight loss or things like that. All right, I'm going to go to the Q&A and I'll get back to the chat because those people who did listen to me and put their questions in the Q&A, I want to reward you by answering. All right, thank you. Do you use a different form of estrogen than Glow Below in a Healthy Hormone Club? So in Glow Below, it's estradiol and estriol. It's a biased formula, but it's a super low dose because vaginal tissues only need a very low dose of estrogen, 20 micrograms. So for systemic hormone replacement, so vaginal Glow Below just stays local to the vaginal tissues, even prescription estrogen for vaginal use, very low dose, 10 to 20 micrograms. Now, in our topical estrogen, that's used for systemic, that is a much higher dose. That's anywhere from 0.5 milligram to 1 milligram, or sometimes 0.25 milligram, depending on the person's need. So that's very much different. And that's when I say 0.25 milligram to 1 milligram, that's the estradiol. And then we also include estriol, which is the kind of partner to estradiol, very cancer protective. So we include that with the estrogen in a bi-S formula. So you get about 80-20 mix of the estradiol and the estriol. So it is the same hormone, still bioidentical, estradiol and estriol. However, for vaginal use, it's much, much lower dose is needed. And that is what the vaginal tissues need. It stays local to the vagina, the vulva, and the urinary tract. And that is what helps with UTIs. It helps with vaginal dryness, helps with skin elasticity, helps with all those things. So you don't have painful sex. You don't have even pain. Like a lot of women, when we get to menopause, or even sometimes after breastfeeding, the vaginal tissues get very dry. They can get itchy, raw. It can be painful just to put on clothes. And so Global O is like a godsend when it comes to all of those things. And so you don't need to be in the Healthy Hormone Club to get Global O, because that is in Europe. Those of you, my European sisters here, it's available over the counter there. But in the United States, for some reason, it's not. But we made it available without a prescription and without having to meet with somebody. So the vaginal estrogen, because it's super safe and you can't really get it wrong. And so it just stays local to the vaginal tissues. But for the topical systemic hormones, we really want you to meet with a hormone specialist. We want you to test, because not because it's dangerous, but because you can make your symptoms worse if you're on the wrong dose of systemic hormones. Let's see. I want to know what I can use instead of HRT as I've had a blood clot. Well, Paula, you can use topical hormone replacement therapy, transdermal, because that does not go through the liver, does not create clotting factors, and there's no increased risk of blood clots. You can actually look that up, topical hormones and blood clot risk, and you will see there is zero increased risk of clotting or any contraindications for people who've had a stroke or a blood clot with topical hormones. Now, oral hormones are a different story. So you can totally use hormone replacement therapy as long as it's topical. When I say topical, that can be a cream, it can be a gel, or it can be a patch. Let's see. What kind of testing do you do? Blood, saliva? For the hormone replacement program specifically, we do saliva testing because that measures free and circulating levels of hormones. Now, we also do blood testing in our practice. And for those of you who, if there's some people, and there are some people in the world who cannot produce saliva, we also do dry blood spot, which is capillary blood. And that is also a great way to monitor topical hormones. The problem with serum testing for topical hormones is that oftentimes you won't see those hormones circulating in the blood because they actually get into the tissues and travel in the lymph. So you're not going to be able to see accurate levels on a straight blood test if you're replacing with topical hormones. Now, if it's your first initial test, you're not on any hormones, you can do a blood test, you can do a urine test, you can do a saliva test. So any testing is fine. Other natural alternatives to hormone replacement therapy. Well, bioidentical hormones are natural. And so that is an alternative, but if you don't want to use any hormones at all, there's really nothing that is going to replace your estrogen and protect you from all of the risks. However, there's things you can do to improve the symptoms, and things like strength training, eating an anti-inflammatory diet, taking herbs. There's a herb that's a rhubarb that helps with hot flashes. Omega-3 and vitamin D also help with hot flashes, as does melatonin. So there are a lot of things that you can do. And I recommend women do most of these things, even if they are on hormone replacement therapy, because most of these things are going to make you a healthier person. But depending on what your risks are and what your symptoms are, there's so much you can do to alleviate symptoms. But most of those things are not going to protect your bones or protect your brain from cognitive decline and those things. So our body really needs estrogen. Just like if you were not producing thyroid hormone, there's you can eat a lot of healthy foods and you can do a lot of things, but it's not going to replace your thyroid hormone if your thyroid isn't making it anymore. But if your thyroid is just not converting it, or there's those issues like that, then you can help it. But basically the ovaries are done in menopause. So it's not going to make any more estrogen. And there's not a lot you can do lifestyle wise to replace that, but you can use natural bioidentical hormones and you can use lower dose. You can make sure that your levels never get higher and you can be safe about it. So topical is the way I'd recommend you go. It's the most natural way. Okay, let's see. 2 months into hormone replacement at 63 years old, mostly for heat intolerance and heart arrhythmias. It seems to be helping with both issues. Wonderful. I'm starting to get PMS and cramps that I have not had in 20 years. Is it really safe for women over 60? It seems unnatural to take the same dose every day. I'm having worse joint pain and more unexpected weight gain. And new headaches that feel like when I was on the pill. I would say adjust your dose. Talk to whoever you are working with for your hormones and ask to adjust your dose. I don't know if you were tested for your hormone levels, but I would test and I would maybe adjust your dose down just to give your body a chance to get used to it. Sometimes in the first 1 to 3 months, there can be some water retention. So hormone replacement does not cause weight gain. It actually helps with weight loss, but some women might retain a little water as their body gets used to it. And sometimes if you've been without hormones for a really long time, it's better to start at a lower dose and then work your way up for your body to get used to it. But yeah, it's absolutely safe if you are working with someone who's knowledgeable and they are dosing you correctly and you are monitoring the testing. But you should not have negative symptoms. So you shouldn't have anything that is a new symptom that comes up as a result of your hormone replacement. So I would say probably a dose too high, or maybe it's not the right delivery method for you. Let's see. Does your monthly Healthy Hormone Club fee cover all costs, including the hormones, at least 2 times a year testing and all consultations? Yes, it does. I know it's hard to believe because most of my counterparts, colleagues, other hormone companies out there, other doctors that do hormone replacement would charge what we charge for the whole year for just like one appointment and one test and no hormones. But yes, it includes all of that. The only additional cost is if you live outside of the United States, when you ship your test back to the lab. So just that once or twice, the few times a year that you're going to ship your test back to the lab, you have to pay for that shipping. So that is like $15 or something like that. But all your hormone shipping, the test shipping to you, all your consultations, as many consultations as you want. We have, like I said, a whole team of doctors, nurse practitioners, nurses, pharmacists, pelvic floor therapists, physios, health coaches that are waiting to help you and answer your questions. So yes, everything's included. And the reason why I did that is because that's how I would want it to be. And I know that I never want money or finances to be an obstacle to getting your hormones replaced. And I also don't want people to be in a hormone replacement program and feel like they can't talk to their hormone specialist because they don't want to pay for it. I have been in programs like that. I've had like doctors, and even we have in our business, we have lawyers that help us with making sure that everything's legal. And every time I send them an email, they charge me. And so I try not to send them emails, but I don't want it to be that situation. I want you to feel supported because that does not exist. Like women do not get supported. How important is it to keep your ovaries if you need a hysterectomy? It really depends on your personal situation and probably your age. If you're postmenopausal, I would say probably not super important to keep them if you're getting a hysterectomy, especially if there's issues. But it's an individual issue, and it's not really something that I'd be able to make that call on in this format for you. But I mean, I personally am always of the notion that any body parts that you can keep is probably better to keep them because your body will miss them in some way, shape, or form, even energetically. So if there's nothing wrong with them, I would say leave them in. If your doctor's recommending otherwise, or there's some reason why you should get them removed, then that's absolutely fine too, because we can replace the hormones and have you feel good again. What if you've had cancer in the past? So if you had cancer in the past, studies are showing that women who have had breast cancer or other types of hormone-related cancers have improved quality of life and increased lifespan if they start taking hormone replacement therapy, as long as you're not currently on hormone suppressive medication. So if you're not actively being treated to keep your hormones down, then you can totally replace your hormones and it actually prevents reoccurrence. There's actually some studies. Oh, we have someone at the door. There's actually some studies that show that hormone replacement will actually prevent reoccurrence of hormone issues. Hey, who's here? It's Paxton fans. Let's see. Come on in. Paxton's got his little cat shirt on. And for those of you who are new to our Q&As, haven't been here before, Paxton is what are you, the prize patrol? Paxton is the prize patrol. So what that means is when he comes in, it means we like to give away some prizes. So today our prizes are, let's see, I have our new libido supplement. It's called Venus. So that will help with libido, will help with motivation, will help with your mental drive. So if you need to get things done, but it'll also help with your sex drive as well. Don't listen. And then we have Soulmate, which is...
You've said that one too many times.
Okay, Soulmate is our vitamin D3 plus K2, not even available to the public yet. I literally just got this in today. So this is a really high quality vitamin D3 plus K2, helps for your immune system, your bones, your teeth, can also help with hot flashes. So we're going to give one of each of those away. And so Paxton, are you going to ask a question?
Hold on, there's 47.
I know, there's a lot of people here today. Do you want to ask a question? Do you want them to put something in the chat?
Well, I'm going to have them.
Do you want to pick a number?
I'm trying to say a joke, and I want them to try to guess it.
Okay.
The answer.
Okay.
No, my joke is kind of easy. Let's just have them pick a number.
Okay. You're thinking of a number?
Okay, I don't.
Okay. So Paxton's thinking of a number. Is it 1 through 10?
Yep.
1 through 10. So put your guess in the chat, and then he'll pick one of the people with the right answer. So there's a little bit of delay. Oh, people are already picking numbers. Okay. We'll give them a second, but for the person who I was just talking to about the breast cancer, I will post when I send this replay out. There's so many.
There's already over 130 probably.
Oh, wow. Over 130 people answered. That's cool. Let me just finish this thought while you're waiting, and you can pick while I'm talking. I will put, with the replay of this video, I will put some studies that actually talk about, oh, careful with my desk, it's on wheels. Some studies that actually talk about the benefits of replacing hormones post-cancer. All right, so did you pick your number? You got your number? All right, so let me know who the first person is. We're gonna pick 2 people.
I'm just gonna restart, and whoever I see getting it first wins one of them. Don't tell them, because we're also going to do the same thing for the other one.
Okay.
Well, maybe I should just pick another.
Yeah, pick one and then pick another one.
Okay. Let's see. This person.
Okay, Gina Colamarino. Gina Colamarino, you are our first winner. So all you need to do is email support. Oh, careful, stand up. I have my desk.
Well, then let me sit down.
Okay. Email support at glownaturalwellness.com and tell us that you won the Paxton's Prize Patrol giveaway. And we'll just ship that to you free of charge. And then your next person, that one right there?
No, it's just I'm looking at another one. I'm going to pick another number.
Okay.
It's going to be 1 through 5.
Oh, why don't you just no. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm just trying to move this along.
Well, then, you know what? This person.
Well, wait now, because everyone's trying to do.
Okay. Karen.
Okay, Karen, is it Cornwell? Karen Cornwell. So you are the next winner. So you will just have to email support at glownaturalwellness.com and let us know you won Paxton's Prize Patrol, and we'll send you a bottle of Venus and a bottle of Soulmate. And that is free of charge. And then for everybody else, I will put a coupon in with a replay. So you guys will get 1% off anything that you buy from Glow Natural Wellness. So everyone's a winner. Everyone's a winner. Yay. Cool. Awesome.
That's that person.
Yeah. Yeah. It's Karen Cornwell. Thank you. All right. So thank you, Paxton. You can take that with you if you want. Yes. Okay. Say thank you, Paxton. Say bye. Want to say bye to everybody?
Bye.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good day.
All right. I will see you in a little bit, and we'll work on your vocabulary.
Have a great day. and awesome day to the winners,
Okay, thanks, Jackson.
but a better day to the non-winners, and the same day to the winners.
Bye, baby. Thank you. All right, that was our little intermission. Toxins probably likes to give away prizes. Awesome. Thank you, guys. So if you won, like I said, just email. Thank you. Just email support. Just email support at Glow Natural Wellness and let us know that you won the Toxins Prize Patrol, and we will go ahead and send you the stuff to your address. So, we just need your address too. So awesome. All right. Oh, thank you guys for all your comments. And like I said, everyone else who you didn't win, I will make sure I put a coupon in with the replay of this video. When I send out on Saturday, I'm going to send the replay and also a little coupon for you guys so that everybody wins, because I like when everybody wins. All right, I'm going to go back to the Q&A. So like what I was saying was, so estrogen, well, I might as well talk about this right now, is the whole, does estrogen cause cancer, or does hormone replacement cause cancer? And so the reason why a lot of people have this notion or this idea that hormones cause cancer, well, first let's think about it. Which women have the highest hormone levels? Is it women who are 55, 60, or is it women who are in their 20s, or women who are pregnant? And the answer is it's women who are pregnant, and then women in their 20s, and then women who are 50, 60, 70, they have the lowest levels of hormones. And guess who gets cancer the most? Is it women in their 20s? Is it women who are pregnant? Or is it women in their 50s, 60s, and 70s? Well, it's women in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. Now, so that doesn't make sense right there. But there was a study done in 2002. It was called the Women's Health Initiative Study, and you probably have heard of it. And it's a really famous study. And what they were trying to do with that study is they actually were trying to prove how good hormone replacement therapy was. So at the time, most women, when they hit menopause, were prescribed hormone replacement therapy routinely by their doctors. And what was prescribed is something called Prempro or Premarin. And Premarin is horse urine, estrogen derived from horse urine. That is an oral pill that you take. And then that was given to women who did not have a uterus. And then women who had a uterus got a combination of Premarin and Provera, which is a synthetic medroxyprogesterone acetate or progestin. And if they got the combination, that was called Prempro, Provera plus Premarin. And so you got the horse estrogen and the synthetic progesterone. So that's what was just the standard of the time. That was the hormones that women took. And the study was actually to prove how awesome hormone replacement therapy is. And so they did the study and they studied all these women. They had a group with their uterus, the group without their uterus. And so one group got estrogen only, the other group got the synthetic estrogen, horse estrogen, synthetic progesterone. And they followed those women for a period of time. And then they realized like some of these women were starting to get cancer. Some of these women were starting to get strokes and heart issues and all these things. So they stopped the study. And the published headlines said that women on hormone replacement therapy had a 25% increase in cancer. And also, I don't remember what the percentage was of heart disease. And so the headlines went everywhere. All the doctors read the headlines. All the people read the headlines. Women everywhere were freaking out, flushing their hormones down the toilet. Doctors stopped prescribing hormones at all. And what happened was no one read past the headline. So later down in the article, it talked about how the group of the study that took the Prempro, the Premarin, and the Provera, the synthetic horse estrogen, the synthetic progesterone, that group had the increased risk of cancer and increased risk of heart disease. The group that took the estrogen only, the horse estrogen only, had actual slight reduction in cancer. And so that was far down the article. Nobody really read it. And there's some flaws with the study too. Most of the women in the study had other health conditions, had history of cancer, had history of other health issues, metabolic syndrome, diabetes, all these things. And so the study has been debunked. And many studies have been done since that study to show that hormone replacement therapy does not cause cancer. And the thing that does lead to cancer in some cases is not a huge risk, but it is a risk. And also heart disease and stroke is that medroxyprogesterone acetate, that synthetic progestin, not progesterone, not bioidentical progesterone. So recently, there was in 2022, a study done on whether or not bioidentical hormones cause this issue. And they actually found that no, bioidentical hormones do not increase risk of cancer, do not increase risk of heart disease, do not increase risk of stroke. And it is, in fact, the medroxyprogesterone acetate or the synthetic progestin that does do that. So that's why, if I get cancer, 1 in 8 women will get cancer. If I get breast cancer, I will take hormone replacement therapy to help my body deal with it. So estrogen does not cause cancer. And so, yeah, that's my answer. That's my very long answer with an intermission from Paxton. But I'll put a link. Actually, earlier this week, if you're on my email list, I emailed and I put the link to a study I'm talking about from 2022 in there. So yes, awesome. Okay, let's see, 66, never taken hormones because breast cancer in my sister, grandmother, and aunt, all premenopausal. And my ND wanted to start me on 0.1 milligram of estradiol, 0.4 milligrams of progesterone, 4 to 5 days a week topically for mild osteoporosis. My estrogen was 0. I'm very fit. Daily workouts. I eat a Mediterranean diet. I'd rather use food and herbs. Is it safe to start? I would actually recommend you do follow your doctor's advice. That's a very tiny dose, but it can be effective for osteoporosis. So the primary reason for osteoporosis is lack of estrogen. Now, women over age 60 who suffer a fall or a fracture due to osteoporosis have a ultra high risk, like a 70% risk of dying within 1 year of that fall. So they're a much higher risk of having osteoporosis to die than there is of you getting cancer and dying. So and if you're doing bioidentical, topical, you said, and your doctor's testing you, I think that is very safe, especially if you're working with a naturopathic physician and they are monitoring you. But definitely do what you feel is right. Now, for osteoporosis, there's a lot you can do. Protein. You want to eat 100 grams of protein minimum per day. I know it sounds crazy. It sounds like a lot, but I actually eat like close to 150 grams of protein per day. And I'll post a video on my YouTube about how I get that protein in. I am actually working on it right now. So I have the outline done. It's something I'm planning on doing. We have a whole new website that's launching within the next couple of weeks. That's been like a huge project that I've been working on for the past 3 or 4 months. So I haven't gotten as many videos done, but after this next couple of weeks, you're going to see a lot more YouTube videos from me, a lot more lifestyle about. So I will show you how to do that. But it's actually pretty simple. A few eggs in the morning. That's going to give you like 12, 14 grams of protein. If you eat like edamame or chicken breasts or do a protein shake, you can easily get another 20 grams of protein each there. So it's not very hard to get it in if you are being very mindful of it. So that's number 1. Number 2 is resistance training. So putting load against the muscle and the bone is going to force it to have to build. So I don't mean the little pink weights that you can just lift all day and laugh and talk and have a conversation and just be doing your little weights. I don't mean that. I mean a resistance. It could be a band. It could be body weight. It could be actual weights, or it can be at the gym on a machine, but something that is going to be difficult for you that you can't do more than like 12 reps. You're struggling on that 12th rep. That is when the bone is going to get built. So that's number 2. I also am a big fan of vibration plates. I personally have like right here, right next to me. So I don't want to take my camera down because I'll mess it up, but it's called the power plate. And it is a whole body vibration system where you just stand on it, and it actually forces your body to have to work against the vibrations. It does. I can't remember what the actual number is, but it's a ridiculous amount of vibrations per minute. And that actually helps to build bone too. There's actually studies after study on it. So those things are really great. Also making sure you're getting your minerals in. Omega-3s are great too. Vitamin D is awesome. So those are things that you can do. It says you are weight training. If you said 3 times a day, but I hope it's 3 times a week. And that should be good. But there's really nothing better than estrogen for getting your bone back. What type of program, supplements, or HRT do you recommend after hysterectomy? Same thing. So I recommend, my favorite is going to be testing your hormone levels, topical bioidentical hormones, a combination of estrogen, progesterone. Topical DHEA will bring your testosterone levels up to physiological levels for women. You might also want to look at your thyroid and also eating a healthy diet and exercise and getting plenty of sleep and all of those things. So it's the same whether you've had a hysterectomy or whether you are just naturally going to menopause or whether you're in perimenopause. It's just going to be different dosing for each woman. See, I'm 61, currently receiving chemo for uterine cancer. Can I still receive bioidentical hormone balancing and therapy supplements at this time? A hysterectomy is forthcoming in the next few months. Yeah, you definitely can. If you're on chemo, you can receive hormone replacement therapy, but we always would like to just get it cleared through your doctor, your oncologist. And actually, for anyone who's worried about cancer, that reminds me that there's a wonderful book. It's called Estrogen Matters, and it's written by an oncologist who is a cancer doctor. And it really talks about the safety of estrogen and how it's been given a bad rap and the importance of estrogen for all women, whether they've had cancer or not. And so I think that's great. And then when you get that hysterectomy, you're definitely going to want hormone replacement for quality of life. So yes, I think that you can be a candidate, but of course we would have you fill out, if you work with us, we'd have you fill out the complete intake and then we'd evaluate that and sometimes talk with your doctor too, to make sure that there's nothing that you're leaving out and that it's all safe for you. I use Ortho Novum 777 for over 25 years. I believe that's birth control pills. I'm over 64 and postmenopause. Is it safe for me to start? Yes, definitely. I think it definitely is, as long as we look at your health history and all of that. So the difference when you're older, and here's why a lot of people think that you can't start after age 50 or 60 or 70. There's no age limit for starting hormone replacement therapy. And there's also no time limit for the amount of time that you can be on hormone replacement therapy. However, starting it earlier, it's going to be more beneficial because you don't have to deal with all the symptoms. Your bone, it starts to break down. And instead of having to build it back up after you've lost it, if you start earlier, you would never lose it in the first place. So there's more benefits to starting early, but you can still start. And the reason why there was that limit, that cutoff date, they used to say you can only be on hormone replacement for the shortest amount of time possible. 10 years is the limit. That's because they were using the synthetic hormones that actually do damage in the body. Horse estrogen, that is nothing like our estrogen, medroxyprogesterone acetate, which actually causes problems. So they were trying to have women take it for as short as possible because it actually did damage. It actually did the opposite of what you want to do. But bioidentical hormones that are life-giving, you can be on those for as long as you want. And you can start them at any age, as long as you are being smart about it. And it's not a DIY project. You don't want to, do it yourself and figure it all out and not listen to doctors and practitioners that are trying to help you. You want to do testing. You want to be smart about it. And you want to monitor symptoms and adjust as needed and working with your practitioner to do that. Yeah. Okay. So this person says, my doctor told me it's not helpful to test because your hormones change all the time. That's absolutely right. So but it is helpful to test. So if you are still cycling, your hormones are going to fluctuate throughout the month. So in that case, we test 5 days after ovulation or about day 19 to 21 of the cycle. That's when your estrogen and progesterone are going to be at their peaks. Now, we also test hormones in the morning because your testosterone levels are highest in the morning. So we want to do that in the morning. And then if you are on hormones, we're going to monitor that. If you're in menopause, you can test any day of the month, but we want to also test in a certain specific time of the day. So yeah, that's definitely very important. Yeah. So the day one, and this person asked the question, perfect timing. I was just saying that day one of your period or your cycle is the first day that you bleed. Then you start counting day 1, 2, 3. Most women will ovulate around day 14. It might be day 12 to 16. So if you know when you ovulate, that's even better. But for most women, it's going to be between day 19 to 21. If you have an average 28-day cycle. Now, if you have a 34-day cycle, then you want to push it back a few days. So day 21 through 23. Now, if you have a very short cycle, then you want to move it up a few days. And our team can help with that. If you are unsure, we have full support when it comes to testing. Do you monitor and treat thyroid issues? I've been on Synthroid and ARA for about 20 years. We do look at thyroid symptoms and we will help you monitor that. But we, in this Healthy Hormone Club, we're not prescribing thyroid hormones. We just recommend that we actually have a partner company that we will recommend that you work with for that, just because we like to keep it specific to the hormones in the Healthy Hormone Club. And we want you to get the best possible care when it comes to your thyroid as well. But we will recommend all the natural holistic things and thyroid glandulars. But for like synthetic thyroid, like Synthroid, then we will recommend a partner company that we work with where you can get same day appointments and your prescription sent to your pharmacy. So that is how we would do that. I have not had a period for many years. I'm guessing that you are then in menopause. So how do you know you're in menopause? Most commonly, it's going to be once you have not had a period for 12 months. Now, can you not have a period for 12 months and not be in menopause? It's rare, but it happened to me. So when I was 20, I did not have a period for 2.5 years, but I was not actually in menopause. I was diagnosed with ovarian failure and premature menopause, but I just did not have a period because I had so many other stressors going on in my body. So it is possible. But it's, if you're over age 40, 45 is that age, and you haven't had a period in a year, most likely you're in menopause. That's how they monitor it. How do you know if you're in perimenopause? Ooh, you never know. It's crazy. So perimenopause can start in the 30s, in your 30s. And no one in their 30s is expecting it. No one is assuming that they're in perimenopause. So when they start getting anxiety, they start getting irregular periods, they start getting trouble sleeping and joint pain and weight gain, they just figure it's like what they're eating, or it's them, or there's something wrong with them, or they're going crazy. A lot of their doctors will say, oh, you just need to eat less and exercise more, or you need to not stress out so much. And it's really confusing because there's no like start date and there's no actual test for perimenopause other than just testing your hormones and seeing if you're lower than normal. But you might have a month where you don't ovulate and then your hormones can be lower. So it can be very confusing, but this is why we do so much education at Glow Natural Wellness, because I really believe that the more we know, if this was when I was younger, when I was like 30, no one talked about perimenopause. I think like now in the past 4 to 6 years, Oprah's talking about menopause, Jennifer Aniston's talking about menopause, Gwyneth Paltrow's talking about menopause. And so it's getting more, I don't know, common to talk about it. But 10, 20 years ago, it was like taboo to talk about. Like no one wants to talk about menopause. And even if you're in your, no, most people on this call are not in their 30s, but imagine you're in your 30s and you don't want to start being like labeled menopausal, right? Because then you feel older. You feel like you've lost your youth or something. And so there is no stigma anymore about menopause. Menopause is cool now, so you don't have to worry about it. Let's see. I had a Dutch hormone test done 18 months ago. Would those results be a valid picture for today? I think any test that's done a year and a half ago is not really a good picture of what's going on right now, especially for women over 40, because so much changes each year. However, like if you would have had a Dutch test done a few months ago, that's a good like ballpark of your hormones, because you're not really measuring the levels of your free hormones in your body. You're measuring the levels of your hormone metabolites. So what you excrete out after your hormones have been processed and used. And so it's average. They don't even give you a progesterone number. They give you like a guess for your progesterone, but we do use a Dutch test in our practice, and we really like it for the cortisol pattern. And we really like it for the estrogen and testosterone metabolites to see how you're breaking down your hormones. But I would say 18 months ago, probably not the best. I would rather just like test your hormones. We actually offer a hormone trio test, which is a very inexpensive test that you can get on our website. Right now, it's like half off. And I think it's $149. I'm not sure, though. Don't quote me, but I'll put a link when we do the replay. And it's a really easy test. You send it in, we ship it to your house, saliva test. You send it back, usually within like 10 business days, you get your results. And so that will just give you an idea of where your hormones are at, or you can get a blood draw at your doctor's office as well. How can saliva testing be accurate since hormones fluctuate so much? How much do hormones fluctuate in women over 60? So if you're over 60, your hormones are likely not going to fluctuate very much, because they're going to be just pretty much low, but there's a chance that you might have higher estrogen for other reasons, for xenoestrogen exposures, environmental exposures, so things like that. And then also your testosterone levels can fluctuate with stress and things like that. And then also throughout the day, your hormones can fluctuate. So you want to test in the morning. So I kind of addressed how it can be accurate when your hormones fluctuate. But yeah, if you're over 60, if you've been in menopause, but I don't want to say that because I have some women in my practice who are 60 and they're still cycling. So that's too much of a generalization to just use age because everybody is different. But if you've been in menopause for 5 years, chances are you're not going to have that much fluctuation if you're not taking any hormone replacement, and if you live a healthy lifestyle. If you're exposed to a lot of toxicity and a lot of xenoestrogens in the environment, there is a chance that you can have elevated levels. Or if you're overweight, because our fat cells also make a type of estrogen called estrone. Does the hormone test include thyroid and cortisol testing? So the hormone test that comes with the Healthy Hormone Club, because it's the reason why we're testing is to see where your sex hormones are at, does not come with that, but we can add that on. We can add on thyroid. We can add on cortisol testing. We do assess your symptoms for thyroid and cortisol imbalances. So if we see that your symptoms correlate with a thyroid or cortisol imbalance, we will recommend the tests after. But if you want to add it on right away, all our tests are very affordable and we're more than happy to do that. Awesome. I have an IUD, Marina, for the last 15 years. I noticed some hot flashes, night sweats for the last 6 months. I'm in perimenopause. Am I in perimenopause or menopause? It's hard to know because you are suppressing your cycle. Okay, let's see, give me your labs. I have not had any periods in the last 15 years due to IUD. It's hard to say. It is hard to say if you are, because like I said, you are suppressing the Mirena IUD basically doesn't allow you to have a cycle. So your body's not producing the estrogen and progesterone. You are just having the synthetic estrogen. And so it's hard to know if you are in perimenopause and menopause, but you'll find out should you have that removed. Okay, let's see. In menopause, does estradiol completely cease being produced, or is it just significantly decreased? Well, it significantly decreases to almost undetectable levels. Your ovaries no longer make estrogen. However, your adrenal glands still make DHEA, which converts to testosterone, which can then aromatize into estrogen. So you can still have some estrogen in your body, but it's usually like very small amounts. So you might have had like 350 when you're healthy, and then you might have like 4 when you're in menopause. So it's very minute. You never have zero. I have seen 0 on a test, but it's very rare. Can supplements, foods, or other foods help the production of necessary hormones like estradiol or estriol? So no food is going to produce estradiol. It's just, it has to be replaced. That's just how it is. You can't eat estradiol. It just doesn't happen. You have to replace it. So it's unfortunate. But like I said, foods can help with symptoms. So there's foods that can help with hot flashes. There's foods that can help with joint pain. There's foods that can help with insomnia, with anxiety, with all the different things, but nothing is going to replace your estrogen. Unfortunately, it's only hormone replacement that will replace your estrogen. But wonderfully, hormone replacement therapy is as affordable as supplements and safer than some supplements as well. So definitely. Do you offer testosterone cream? Can I pick the base cream the bioidenticals are made with? I have allergies. All of our hormones are made with the same base cream. You can look on our website to see what the ingredients are. So if you have an allergy, at this time, we don't allow for different base creams. It's all natural, plant-based. But yes, we don't, and it's allergen free. And testosterone cream is not FDA approved for women in the United States, so we cannot offer it in this program, but we do offer DHEA cream, which will raise your testosterone levels to, if we wanted to, above the healthy range for women. But DHEA, when delivered topically, converts at about 50% to testosterone. So it will raise your testosterone levels to the level that you need it to be and above if you wanted to, but we don't believe in that. So we want healthy female levels of testosterone. What if you need more than just sex hormones? Do you also address that? We do in other programs. So we have the Healthy Hormone Club is for hormone replacement therapy. And we'll also give you diet and lifestyle. We give you pelvic floor therapy training. We give you exercise. There's a whole exercise module in the Healthy Hormone Academy, which comes with the Healthy Hormone Club. You get access to watching like follow along videos of workouts with me. We give you a nutrition counseling. What else? There's stress reduction practices, breath work, all kinds of other holistic things. But if you're looking for like full blood work or gut health, like restoring your gut health and dealing with candida and parasites, we have another program called the Glow Protocol, where we do all that and really work through all the systems of your body and bringing up your iron and helping you with better digestion and assimilation and helping your detox and heavy metal detox and all of those things. So yeah, so we do offer all of that in our practice. But of course, if we were going to include all that in the Healthy Hormone Club, we wouldn't be able to make it affordable because it would have to include all the stuff. And then that would be very expensive. So we try to keep the hormone replacement as inexpensive as possible. Let's see the hour, and I'm not sure how long this Q&A will last. I'm just answering all the questions, so I'm not sure how long this Q&A will last. I usually stay on as long as I can. I know we're hour in. I am recording this. I got nervous for a minute because I didn't remember pressing record, that it automatically recorded for us. So you don't worry, I will not be offended if you need to run out. I totally understand that people have things to do and dinner to make and places to go, but I will send the replay out so you can get the rest of, you're not going to miss anything. So don't worry. I love that you are here and my heart goes out to you. If I didn't get to your question, I'm going through all the questions. There are, there's over close to 400 people on. So I'm getting through as much as I can, but I will do another one of these too very soon because clearly we need this. Women need to understand what's going on and have a way to get their questions answered. And that's why I do these. I don't make any money from this. There's no sponsors. It's not a commercial, but I really feel like women need a place to go to get their questions answered without an ulterior motive and without like being intimidated by their doctors or being like brushed aside. And so this is what I would want if I were you. I am lucky that I was able to go to medical school and all the additional training with the Academy of Anti-Aging and the Menopause Society and all these places. So I have this information, but it's just like if I go to the car dealer or the mechanic, I don't know what's going on. Not that I really care because it's not my thing, but you get what I'm saying. Awesome. Do you offer topical progesterone or oral? I used topical for many years. My current doc changed me to oral and it seems fine. I had an allergic reaction in the last 12 months to the chemical that my Bi-X was mixed in my cream. My pharmacist was able to change that base. Yeah, so we don't use any of those harsh chemicals that most compounding pharmacies use. So our base creams are very hypoallergenic. And unless you're allergic to something like coconut oil or shea butter or something very basic like that, then you won't have a problem with our creams. But there are one of the reasons why we're not using a compounding pharmacy while we're manufacturing it in our own FDA approved kosher certified facility is because you never know what you're getting in the compounded pharmacy creams. They switch it up all the time. So I totally get what you're talking about. Now, we do offer a couple of different options for progesterone. 90% of people are going to be on the cream, but I do have another option as well if needed. Let's see. I'm assuming your Healthy Hormone Club would also do this should the problem arise. We have a limited availability to switch up the base cream because of the way that we run our program and the way we manufacture our creams. We manufacture our own hormone creams. So you can contact our support at Glow Natural Wellness and you can see if there is something in our base cream that you'd be allergic to. But like I said, that we don't use any of the harsh chemicals or the parabens or the excipients that a lot of the hormone compounding pharmacies use. Do you offer second opinions for people if someone has had an advanced hormone metabolite dried urine test similar to the Dutch test with a history of breast cancer and needs a second opinion? We do. If you go on our website, Glow Natural Wellness, we offer a few different ways you can do this. So we have a case review where we'll look at your whole health history and everything. Or if you just want a second opinion on a test, we have a results and recommendations session that you can book for like a test review. We have a 30-minute and a 60-minute. So if you just have one test, the 30-minute should suffice. Or if you want more in-depth, the 60-minute. So yeah, then what you would do is you would just book that on the website, you send your test in, and then our team will review it, and then we'll set up a time to meet with you and to give you that opinion. Okay, I'm in a menopause. I'm at the menopause stage. I have weight gain and I'm trying hard to lose weight. My life is so busy. Claudette, I get you. And I can't tell you how many women who I have talked to over the past 5 years that they're doing all the same things. They haven't changed their diet. In fact, they might be eating less. They're still exercising and they're gaining weight. And it really is due to the estrogen decline. So estrogen is the hormone that gives us our womanly curves, so our boobs and our hips. And, women typically will gain weight or store additional fat in their butt, in their hips and thighs until their estrogen declines. And then they start to store visceral fat around the organs and they start to get that belly fat, that apple shape. And that is usually what's happening. And the other thing is when estrogen goes down, our hunger hormones change. So our leptin and ghrelin. Leptin is the hormone that lets us know we're satisfied and full. And that decreases, while ghrelin, the hormone that stimulates our appetite, that increases. The other thing is we become more insulin resistant. And so we don't process our carbohydrates as well. We're more likely to store them as fat. And we have more cravings. We have less energy. And so all of these things are a perfect storm for why we gain weight in menopause. And so, yes, hormone replacement therapy can definitely be helpful. However, it is not a magic weight loss pill. So it's not like you're going to rub the hormone creams on and the next day you're going to lose weight. It does take time. What it does do, though, so when you get on hormone replacement therapy, it will slow down or stop the weight gain. So women gain an average of 15 pounds in the time from perimenopause to menopause. However, many women gain much more than that, a lot more than that. And a lot of times it's a result of both the estrogen decline and also at the same time, either autoimmune thyroid disease like Hashimoto's or a decline in their thyroid hormone production. So I'm really looking at all of that. But yes, in the first few months, you're going to have a slowdown of the weight gain or till it stops, and then you start losing the weight, but it does take some time. When we talk about hormone replacement, is that estrogen and progesterone or testosterone? Is a combo based on your test results? Yeah, it's a combo. So hormone replacement therapy for women or menopause hormone replacement traditionally has been estrogen and progesterone. In some practices, in some areas of the country, in some parts of the world, it's only estrogen. And then they just give you progesterone if you have a uterus. In our practice, we're talking about estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, and we're talking about optimizing and balancing all of them, whether you have a uterus or not, because progesterone is very important for protecting the thyroid. It's very important for our brain health. It's very important for our digestion and our skin health and our bones too. So many things for sleep and helping with our mood. And so I really am a huge fan of balancing the hormones, all three of those, the sex hormones, the estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, and of course, supporting thyroid, supporting cortisol. And a lot of the supporting the thyroid and the cortisol can be done with nutraceuticals or supplements or lifestyle and diet, because you're never at no point in your life, unless you have a removal of your adrenal glands or removal of your thyroid, the thyroid doesn't stop until you die. The adrenal glands don't stop until you die, but the ovaries stop at menopause. And so you can do things in diet and lifestyle to help the adrenals and the thyroid make thyroid hormone and convert the thyroid hormone and use it and make the right amount of cortisol. There's plenty that you can do there. But as far as estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, well, testosterone you can kind of help make because it's the adrenal glands are responsible for making a lot of testosterone, but estrogen and progesterone, really not that much. Let's see what breast cancer I had in 1991. You're saying it was fed by hormones, but that's not actually true. Breast cancer is not fed by hormones. It's a stem cell issue. I was told I can never take hormones. That's because your doctor probably just didn't learn anything else. Chemo stopped my period, never had it again. A lot of people will go into menopause as a result of chemotherapy. I'm way past menopause. What's your take on this? It's an individual decision. There's no reason why you can't replace your hormones, but you'll want to do it with the help of, a trained practitioner. And you'll likely want to test your hormones and go with a low dose. And so it's a fallacy that hormones feed cancer, because they do not. It's DNA damage that feeds cancer. How much is the Healthy Hormone Club? So we have it right now on a 53% off sale. So it's the regular price, which we have the sale a lot. I'm going to be completely honest with you. We often run the sale. So the sale price is $139 per month, and that includes everything. If you're overseas, like if you're in the UK or Canada, if you're international, there isn't a slight upcharge for shipping. So I think if you're international, I want to say it's $152 US, but if you're in the United States, it's $139. That includes all your testing, includes your intake, includes unlimited appointments, includes all your hormones shipped to your home, and the Healthy Hormone Academy, which is a kind of a holistic lifestyle program. So that's everything. Yeah, if you saw $299 on our website, if you're on our email list, which you probably are because you got an invite to this, look back at any of the emails we sent this week and you'll get a link to the 53% off. But if you go to, if you go to glownaturalwellness.com and don't go to the store, go to the Work With Us page. In fact, let me see if I can share my screen so I can show you guys. Okay, let me just type it in. I'm going to share my screen for you guys because yes, there is a spot on our website where it's full price, but right now I have a sale. So I want to make sure you guys get that. So let me share my screen. Sorry, I'm share screen. Okay. All right. So this is our website. And then if you go to Work With Us, the very first thing is the Healthy Hormone Club. So this right here, you can do United States or international. If you scroll down, this is telling you about it, what it includes, how it works. So you're going to do your intake, you're going to meet with your hormone specialist, or your intake, your test, hormone specialist, get your hormones delivered, ongoing support. There's some great testimonials here for some women who are in our program that have different ages. They have different reasons why they came to the Healthy Hormone Club, so you can watch those. And so here it's $299 crossed out. It's only $139 a month, and that includes everything. And then if you do it, you have an option to pay annually, and that will bring it down to $116 a month if you pay for the year ahead. So if you pay in advance, you get a little discount. And so it's super affordable. And so hopefully that is helpful. Can you please discuss the role of detox in general, specifically related to using hormone replacement? Do you recommend doing some type of detox before starting hormone replacement? I just recommend living a anti-inflammatory, healthy lifestyle. So avoiding toxins. We do often recommend for estrogen detox, we recommend our Daily Glow supplement, which has DIM and it has some vitamins and nutrients that help with estrogen detox specifically. Just in case there are some people who have some, genetic variants that don't allow them to detox estrogen well. And I always recommend Daily Glow as a support because it has thyroid support, has adrenal support, and it has the hormone detox support in it. So that is usually like the recommendation that I will give for everyone who's considering detox support. But we also have a lot of tips on detox that we provide when we give you your protocol. So yes, if you're concerned about detox, we definitely have a lot of different ways that you can detox, from sauna to dry brushing to different foods that you can eat that help with detox. And so there's a lot of different ways. And then of course, our Glow Protocol program has a whole module on detoxification, cellular detoxification, heavy metal detox, mold detox, all of those things. See, I'm 62 on estradiol patch and progesterone, still getting some hot flashes. My libido is sadly way down. Oh, my doctor never tested me either. Are you saying these dosages are normal? There's not really a normal dosage because everybody's different. So I would go to your doctor and say, please test my hormones. Because if you're still getting hot flashes, chances are you might need a little increase in your dose. So yes. And then if your libido is way down, you may need some support for your testosterone levels, or it also could be from low estrogen. So I'd start with asking your doctor to test and seeing where you're at. And if you're at the low end of the range or even the middle of the range, you might want to bump it up a little bit. You might need a little bit more and see if that takes care of your issue. And then for libido, there's a lot of herbal things you can do. We just gave away our Venus supplement, and that has a lot of great herbs, like from like maca to damiana. It has a lot of tribulus. There's so many cool things in there. Long jackroot. So a lot of things that help your testosterone production, but also just help libido and sensitivity and orgasm. And then Glow Below is also another one that's great for libido because that helps your sensations and helps things be a little more interesting for you. Okay, let's see. Started the estradiol patch and progesterone a month ago. I noticed I felt sleepy when taking progesterone within 1 to 2 hours. And my vagina is wetter. I guess that's good to help me sleep. Yes. And progesterone does create it works with GABA, and it creates a little bit of relaxation and helps with sleep. So that is true. 2 years post-menopause, how do I know whether these doses are correct? Testing your hormones. That's the only way you'll ever know. There's not a standard dose that is what all women need. Does menopause or perimenopause affect cortisol levels? Well, stress and inflammation affect cortisol levels, and estrogen loss and progesterone loss affect your ability to handle stress and also affect your inflammation because estrogen is anti-inflammatory. So there's kind of an indirect relation. If you're not sleeping well, it's going to affect your cortisol. If you're in pain, it's going to affect your cortisol. If your mood is you're having mood swings or emotional issues, anxiety, depression, that's going to affect your cortisol. And those are all symptoms and side effects of estrogen and progesterone loss. Let's see. Will you talk about the association between estrogen replacement therapy and breast cancer? I did that a few minutes ago, and I can make a whole video on that as well. I would like to ask, I'm 40 years old, monthly cycle has stopped due to stress, anxiety. What would you recommend me to consume? I would recommend really looking at your stress and anxiety and seeing like where you can get support, where you can maybe bring in some relaxation and restorative practices, whether it's breath work, meditation, therapy, anything that you can do, because that means that your stress and anxiety is pretty serious if it's actually stopping your cycle. So I'm definitely addressing that root cause. I mean, it sounds like you know what the root cause is. So I would definitely address that. Adaptogenic herbs can be super helpful. Our Daily Glow multivitamin 1-a-day supplement, not 1 a day, you actually take 4 capsules a day, but once a day, that has adaptogenic herbs in it, which help your body to actually deal with stress. Another great thing you can do if you don't want to do a supplement, holy basil tea. That is adaptogenic as well. You can drink a few cups or do like a strong steep where you're going to do 2 or 3 tea bags in 1 cup and drink that. That really will help your body deal with stress. But meditation, even if you don't like meditation, there's a lot of wonderful like apps that you can walk you through. We have a wonderful practitioner on our team. Her name is Jen, and she does rapid transformation therapy, which is a modality that really helps you kind of step outside your body and work on that stress. And then when you come back to yourself, then you are able to better handle it. So that is an option as well. So what natural supplements do you recommend in general for postmenopause? So in general, a really good multivitamin. I recommend that. I would recommend something that also includes selenium and iodine for like kelp for thyroid support. Probably vitamin D and omega-3s because most people are low on that. So either test your levels or just take it because it's going to be good for you. If you're having trouble with sleep, some type of sleep support, whether that be melatonin or CBD or herbal complex like passion flower and chamomile and skullcap and things like that. And then the rest is really diet. There's not like a ton of supplements that I personally take or that I recommend across the board to everybody. I personally take a multivitamin. I take my daily glow supplement. I take Glow PM, which is a nighttime, helps me relax, helps me calm down, helps with cravings and stuff like that. I take omegas. I take vitamin D. And then I take like a little tincture pre-workout, which is like a little energy and kind of it's energy and metabolism kind of activator. I take that before I work out. So that's pretty much it. You don't need a lot of supplements. You just need a really healthy diet. I eat healthy and I really optimize my protein. And I really take note of eating a wide variety of fruits and vegetables that have a wide variety of colors. And so that's kind of the best thing you can do is eat healthy. You don't need a ton of supplements. If you have a hard time getting protein, a protein powder can be really helpful as well, or collagen powder can be helpful. I need your advice. How can I lose this weight? I actually did a whole video on the top strategies for weight loss. So check my YouTube channel. If you guys are not already following me on YouTube, Fix Hormones with Dr. Michelle. If you're watching the replay, it's probably on YouTube. So it's kind of redundant, but if you're watching the replay, I'll put the video up here so that you can just click on it. But since you're watching this live right now, go to my YouTube channel, Fix Hormones with Dr. Michelle, and look for the weight loss videos. I have a couple on there. I think I have 3 about weight loss that have some great tips on things that I do and things I recommend to my patients. And yes, you can lose the weight. And hormone replacement can definitely help because it's one of the reasons why we gain weight. I was actually watching a YouTube video and they were talking about like, if you look at pictures of people from like centuries ago, or not centuries, but like the early 1900s or like the late 1800s, and everybody was pretty thin. Like you didn't have a lot of like obesity back then, but the one person in the family who was a little chubby was grandma. And because she's in menopause, and that the change in the hormones does really change how our body stores fat and the rate at which our body stores fat as well. So there, you can do it. Then there's plenty of women who are over 50, over 60, over 70 and in the best shape of your life. But it's just sometimes like changing a little bit, keeping those hormones balanced, because the hormones really send signals to the body to make muscle, store fat, have energy, be upset, all those things. So that's important, but also weight training, the right amount of exercise, the right amount of sleep, really looking at your food and maybe keeping a food journal to see what it is you're really eating, making sure you're getting the right nutrients and the amount of protein. And then also looking at your thyroid, looking at your adrenals, looking at other things that could be at the root. Mold toxicity is a big one for many people. Mold exposure and mold toxicity, that can actually cause weight gain as well, as can gut issues. So unbalanced microbiome can also be an issue. See, trying to conceive in my early 40s, already feel the signs and symptoms of perimenopause. Is it safe to start hormone therapy while trying to conceive? So it's safe, but you might want to consider like a fertility treatment instead of just hormone replacement therapy, because there's a different strategy involved with fertility versus hormone replacement. So yes, it's totally safe to be on hormone replacement while trying to conceive. But if you're worried about the short window that you might have, working with a fertility specialist, they're going to be able to sometimes give you higher doses of hormones to help you keep the baby, like to help you conceive, but also looking at your husband or your partner who you're trying to conceive with, because sometimes that's the problem. Sometimes it's not you. Sometimes it's him. Sometimes his sperm isn't swimming correctly. There's low motility. There's low sperm count. So looking at what he's doing as well. But I do have a resource that I created called the Fertile Glow Diet. And it actually has a lot of like nutrients in there that help to give you the best chance at setting yourself up for having healthy fertility. So I'll have to look for that. If you search it on my website, you might be able to find it. I also did like a couple of news interviews a couple of years ago about fertility. So if you want to email support at Glow Natural Wellness and ask for that, my team can send you the Fertile Glow Diet and that can be helpful for you. But it's not dangerous to be on hormone replacement while trying to conceive, but it's not probably going to be the type of hormone therapy that you would need if you were looking for fertility treatments, because those are very high dose hormones. So, but yes, you can totally replace your hormones. See, I have autoimmune issues, mold toxicity, lipidemia, perimenopause. I'm terrified of gaining weight. Everything causes me to gain weight. It's so difficult to lose it. Will hormone replacement therapy cause more weight gain? So all the studies show that hormone replacement therapy does not cause weight gain, that there's no correlation between hormone replacement and weight gain. However, I will tell you that I have heard from women that when they start hormone replacement therapy, some women can gain weight, and it's actually not fat, it's actually water retention. So the way around that is you can use an herbal diuretic, you can do sauna, or you can start with a lower dose if you are susceptible, because the fluctuation of your hormones, the infusion of your hormones, your body requires more water to circulate those around the body. And sometimes that water retention can show up as pounds on the scale, but hormone replacement therapy actually facilitates fat loss, not fat gain. So, but the mold toxicity definitely will keep you gaining weight too if you haven't addressed that yet. Okay, let's see. Puberty is a normal stage that we go through to become reproductive adults, and menopause is a normal stage that we go through when our reproductive years are over. So isn't it normal to have low levels of sex hormones? Yes, it is. It's totally normal, but it's totally normal to have osteoporosis. It's totally normal to have heart disease. It's totally normal to have joint pain, headaches, difficulty sleeping, mood swings. All those things are totally normal for a woman who is in menopause. However, because we are living more than half our life in a state of hormone decline, and most women are not ready to just call it quits. It used to be that the life expectancy of a woman was like 54 years old, and the average age of menopause was 51 or 52. So she'll only live 2 years after menopause. So there's no need to replace hormones because it's natural to die a few years after menopause. But now we have so many different interventions. We have advances in medicine. People are living much longer. And so it's not natural for any human to live in a hormone deficient state. So yeah, that's why you would want to take your hormones. And if you want to live years in your body, the female body needs hormones to live pain-free, for all her systems to work, for her brain to work, for her heart to work well, for her bones to be strong. And so that's why. Yeah. Yeah. So, when you develop into an adult, humans need hormones. And so because we're not reverting back to babies, then it's not like reversing puberty. So hopefully that's helpful. But yeah, it's a personal decision. So if you prefer to kind of gradually decline as you live in that state of hormone depletion, then that's definitely your own choice, as long as you know you have the choice, as long as you know what your options are. That's really what I'm here to do, not to convince anybody to take hormones or not take hormones. It's really to give you the options. And I support every option that women should choose. I just want women to have the options. Saliva versus blood serum testing, they're both great tests. So if you want to test a lot of different things like complete blood count and lipid levels, cholesterol, you can also throw your hormones on there. Thyroid, all of that, vitamin D, you can test all that in blood. Saliva is great if you're doing cortisol, if you're doing estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, when you're doing topical hormone replacement, because it's not going to show up in the serum. So there's different tests for different reasons, but all the tests are decent. It's just what you're using it for. The problem comes in if someone tries to test serum when someone is on topical hormones. They don't show up very well in the serum because they're not floating around the blood. They're actually in the tissues or in the lymph. And so what happens is a doctor might test someone's hormones who's on topical hormone replacement and say, oh, we need to add more. And then they add more. And then they test them again. They're like, oh, the levels are still low, so let me add more. And then these women come in on these ridiculously high doses and they have like such high levels, but the doctor didn't realize that they shouldn't be testing in the blood. How do you feel about bioidentical hormones? I love bioidentical hormones. I think they're magical. No, they are godsend. Bioidentical hormones are amazing because they are identical to the hormones that we make in our body. See, I saw yesterday scrolling in the hormone therapy program that you can get a free bottle of Glow serum. I enrolled Sunday. Just curious if I qualify for that. Yes, this week, if you purchase the Healthy Hormone Club, at the discount, the 53% off for the $139 a month, or for $116 a month, if you pay for the year in advance, you get a free bottle of Daily Glow or Glow Below. So Glow Below, that is the vaginal serum. If you purchased it, so starting Monday, if you purchased it Sunday before, just email support@GlowNaturalWellness, because you will not get the bottle unless you email, because we started it on Monday. So everyone who bought from Monday through this Sunday is going to get tagged in our system. And then we know to send them a bottle of Glow Below. Because you're here and you're asked, just email us, support@GlowNaturalWellness. Say, I bought the Healthy Hormone Club one day before you started. Can you send me a bottle of Glow Below too, or Glow Below as well? And we will do that for you. So just let me know. It's close enough. You qualify. Let's see. Do you use creams only, or do you use estrogen patches? So the Healthy Hormone Club is topical hormone creams. And I also am a fan of other methods, but that particular program is just the creams. We actually are adding oral progesterone in about a month for people who need that or prefer that. So that is something that's coming. But right now, as of today, it's topical hormones only, just because they are the safest and they are the easiest to modify. They have the least side effects. Let's see, recently sent in my saliva test, individually, not in your program. So you bought the hormone trio test. How long does it take to get the results and meet with one of the staff for the input? So let's say you sent your hormone trio test, that's the test that we offer outside of the program. It's the same test that you get in the program, but we allow people to just test their hormones if they just want to know without buying the program. So let's say you sent it in today, you put it in, so you did the test, you put it in the prepaid envelope and you sent it off. Generally, it takes a couple days to get to the lab. So let's say today is Thursday, it would get there. So Friday, and then let's say Monday is the next business day. The lab takes about 5 to 7 business days to process it. So that would be like another week would go by. And then when we get it, we'll send you a link. So generally within 2 weeks of when you send it back, a lot of times less than that, depending on how busy the lab is. If they get it to us in the 5 business days or the 7 business days, you'll get notified, you'll get your test results sent to you, and then you'll get a link to book your appointment with a hormone specialist. Generally, you can usually get in within the week for the hormone specialist. Every once in a while, it might take 10 days to get in. A lot of times you can get in within the next few days, just depending on how many people are booking at once. So that's how that works. And then you get your results. They'll make some recommendations for lifestyle, for supplements. If they feel like hormone replacement is something that you should be doing, they will also recommend that as well and give you kind of an idea of what types of hormones you would be using, what that would look like for you. But there's no obligation whatsoever. That's just information for you. You can take it to your doctor. You can do whatever you want with it, but it's just peace of mind for yourself. And sometimes, people do the test and their hormones are great. And then we also look at the symptom analysis and maybe say, well, your estrogen, progesterone, they look fine, but your thyroid, your symptoms all point to thyroid. And so we'll be able to pinpoint other stuff for you as well. Is it possible to get through perimenopause and menopause with no treatments by just eating properly and exercising? So it is. I mean, yes, you can get through it. You can definitely get through it. But will you have the most optimal health at the end of it? Well, estrogen loss does cause degradation of your bones, does cause increased risk for heart disease, Alzheimer's, rapid aging, insulin resistance, all those things. So you don't have that protection. And then also vaginal dryness, urinary tract infections, pelvic floor disorders, all of those things. So you don't have protection from those, but there are plenty of women who don't have hot flashes, don't have a lot of symptoms other than things like bone loss, heart disease, cholesterol issues, and maybe they'll just take medications for those things. And if they're fine with that, and that's how that works. But yes, you definitely want to eat healthy and exercise. That is number one. And there are some people that just don't have a lot of symptoms. So yes, you can skate by, but the majority of women will not live optimally as well as they could without hormone replacement. But there's lots of women that live without hormone replacement. They're happy and they're healthy. So if you feel great and you don't have any health issues and you're not at risk for anything, then you might be one of the lucky ones. But for everybody else, we need to replace our hormones. Let's see, does vaginal estrogen help other issues at all that aren't vaginal? Vaginal estrogen stays local to the vaginal tissues. So it helps with vaginal dryness, helps with vaginal pain, irritation, helps with urinary tract infections. It actually helps with the whole genital urinary syndrome. So there's a syndrome called the genitourinary syndrome of menopause. And so it used to be just called vaginal atrophy or vaginal dryness. But what they found is that women who had low estrogen and had issues with vaginal areas, they also had leakage, they had urinary incontinence, they had increased UTIs, urinary tract infections, bladder infections. And so estrogen replacement actually helps with all of those things. So it helps with everything in that general region. Now, things like hot flashes, things like night sweats, things like joint pain, dementia, bones, you're going to need the systemic hormones for that. So the vaginal hormones are great, but yeah, they stay kind of local to the vaginal tissues and the urinary tract. So I had my thyroid removed September due to a goiter on my thyroid, looking at natural supplements to help. Now on 100 micrograms of Synthroid, my TSH is still low. Yeah, so thyroid stimulating hormone is telling your thyroid to make hormones, but since you don't have a thyroid, it's not really going to work that way. You may need more. You may need more than just Synthroid. So Synthroid is synthetic T4, but your body has to convert that to T3. And so you might need help either converting it with some nutrients, or you might have to replace the T3 as well in the form of, brand name is Cytomel if you do the like pharmaceutical, or you might want to switch to a thyroid glandular that has a combination of T4 and T3. But definitely work with your practitioner, whoever's prescribing your Synthroid for you. Talk to them about how you might be able to improve that, especially if you're still having symptoms. See, my doctor told me that progesterone doesn't absorb well. She said progesterone cream would help with sleeping. Yeah, so it can help with sleeping. That's why we generally recommend taking it at night. It does absorb well through the skin. There's plenty of studies that actually show that. And also we see it daily in the hormone testing. So perhaps she said that for you specifically, that you weren't absorbing it well through the skin, that can be a possibility. So in general, generally speaking, that absorbs very well through the skin. So transdermal is definitely a way to go for both hormone creams, gels, and patches. That is the most common form of hormone replacement these days because of the safety. So yeah, I'm not really sure. It might be specific to you. My audio doesn't work, so I missed part of the training. I'm wondering what the difference between your hormones and pharmaceutical hormone drugs. It might be the same, might be different. A lot of the difference is going to be in the additional ingredients. Oral hormones versus topical hormones. Oral hormones can cause side effects. So I did talk a lot about this earlier, but if you're on bioidentical hormones, then they're very comparable to what we're doing in our program. So it's not that our hormones are better than our hormones. Our support, our testing, our pricing, and the ability to get your hormones tested, get the hormones shipped to your door, work with the hormone specialist, get the individualized dosing. That's what's better. The hormones themselves, if it's bioidentical estrogen cream or bioidentical progesterone, it's going to be very similar. The difference might be in whatever it's mixed with. If you're doing a patch, maybe the adhesive can sometimes cause irritation with people because it's like a synthetic glue. So there's ups and downs to different methods. Some people prefer a patch though, because they forget to put their cream on, right? They don't want to deal with it. I'm not a huge fan of pellets because pellets tend to be, don't really know what you're getting and you get a super high dose all at once. So I'm not a fan of those, but there's plenty of different options out there. And ours is not the Healthy Hormone Club is not the only option. I think it's a great option because of how convenient and affordable it is, but there's plenty of other options out there. Can hormone balancing help with sleep apnea? So it helps with sleep and it helps with inflammation, but sleep apnea is generally a structural issue with a soft palate. So you likely need to do some soft palate training. There's actually exercises that you can do to train your soft palate to kind of get in shape And so we have seen some people do really well and not have to use the CPAP machine. But yeah, hormone replacement therapy doesn't do that though. It can possibly, in a roundabout way, I guess it can reduce inflammation and maybe help you have the motivation to do your exercises to help with your soft tissue, but that's really a stretch, so I'm not going to go there. Let's see. Postmenopause for 30 years since age 47, still experiencing occasional hot flashes. Oh, man, I'm sorry. Because, the average woman will say, like, the average is like hot flashes should only last like 10 to 15 years, but we do have women in our practice of 70, 80, 85, and they're still getting hot flashes. So I'm sorry that's happening to you. Some sleep issues, flatline libido, low estradiol, less than 0.5, testosterone less than 5, progesterone 14. Did a test July 2023, tried HRT in the early 1990s, experienced depression, endometriosis, gave up after a couple months. Each time have had no systemic support since then. What can help with bioidentical? What help can bioidentical HRT have in 77 years? Well, I will tell you, I just got a chat message yesterday and I can't find it right now, but 78-year-old woman, 2 months into her hormone replacement therapy, she emailed us to tell us that she has so much energy. She had sex with her husband, who's 10 years younger than her, for the first time in like 15 years. And she's like, I had an orgasm. And she says that she feels like she's so youthful now. And she was just ecstatic. And so there's a lot that can be done for you at any age. So yes, had you been on hormones that whole time, would it have been better for you? Absolutely. You probably would, have more youth. You'd probably have more collagen in your skin. But can you do it now? Yes, you can. And I'm guessing in the 1990s, you were using synthetic oral hormones because that was pretty much what was available back then. A lot of the hormones that they prescribed in like 1990 aren't even on the market anymore because they have been proven to not be good for you. So the hormones that we have now in 2023 are way, way different than the hormones that they were prescribing in 1990. A lot of those hormones are not even on the market anymore. So yeah, there's a lot you can do. Being in Australia, will I be able to have these tests to check my hormones? Yes, you will. We actually have a pretty decent amount of Australian members of the Healthy Hormone Club. Let's see, I have fibrocystic breasts and benign calcifications in the breast. Is bioidentical hormone replacement okay? Yeah, fibrocystic breasts are very common. It's just the breast tissue starts to get dense in some women. It's a genetic thing for most women, and it's not cancer related. So yes, bioidentical hormone replacement is okay. It can actually help you have less pain if you have a lot of breast pain. So definitely that's something that you can look into. But yes, not a problem. It's not a contraindication. What is global up that glow below? I think that's what you're talking about. Glow below is I wonder if I have the bottle. Yes. So glow below, this is the original packaging. This is the new packaging. So if you get it, it'll look like this. This is vaginal hydration serum. So it has a lot of great botanicals in it. It has shea butter, sunflower oil, almond oil, hyaluronic acid. It has vitamin E, but it also has bioidentical estradiol and bioidentical estriol. And then we also have one that is a DHEA version. So it has bioidentical DHEA. They both work awesome. The DHEA version is a little more really helps with sensitivity when it comes with sex, but they both work great. We have two options because some people they have a stigma against estrogen. So we have the DHEA version as well. I like them both. I actually recommend using both of them. I use the DHEA at night and the estrogen in the morning, just as part of my skincare. So I don't even really have any vaginal dryness, but just like my skin isn't dry, but I moisturize my skin. I moisturize my vaginal tissues as well so they stay youthful. And that's really what I want. I don't want to get the sagging and I don't want things to change down there. I'm being proactive about it. But if things have changed down there, you can actually restore them because it's rejuvenating. So that's what that is. Have you sent any of your hormone therapy products to Canada? Yes, we actually have. We have several. Well, we've had a good probably 100 or more Canadian members of the Healthy Hormone Club. Actually, if you go to our sales page, glownaturalwellness.com, if you go to Healthy Hormone Club, You'll see one of the testimonials of someone from Canada talking about how hard it was to get hormone replacement there. So yeah, we don't have any problem shipping to Canada because we have certain certifications that allow us to do that. Let's see. If you had a complete hysterectomy on the 13th of April, my doctor said that I'm okay now, but my hair is falling. I'm from Trinidad. I'm also tired. I don't know what your doctor meant by you're okay now, meaning that you don't have any uterine cancer anymore or that you're okay, you don't need anything. But if you had a hysterectomy, you really should get some hormones so that you can feel better. And your hair is likely falling just because it's a shock to the system when the uterus is taken out. And if you have issues, I don't know if your ovaries came out, it was complete hysterectomy. Yeah. So your ovaries came out. And so you're not able to make any hormones right now. And so it's a complete shock to the system. The hair falling might be due to just the trauma and the stress of the surgery, but it also can be due to lack of hormones. Generally, let's see, April. Yeah. So that's about the right time. Generally, changes in your hair will show up 3 months after whatever the trigger was, because the hair cycle takes about 3 months. So if you had a trigger, stressful event happened today, 3 months from now was when your hair starts falling out. How do women with endometriosis go through menopause? It's the same way everybody else goes through menopause. They still go through menopause. Sometimes they do end up with higher levels of estrogen even after menopause due to the endometriosis. So yes. See, I'm a young 75. Yes, you are. That's awesome. I had estrogen positive breast cancer a year and a half ago, had lumpectomy, radiation, thankfully healthy. However, I have constant fatigue, a lot of depression, and I intermittent fast because I'm not taking the hormone prescription and for weight loss. My doctor said I would not be eligible for HRT. Is he correct? No, actually, he's not correct. Most doctors who have no training in hormone replacement therapy will just say, anyone who has had cancer or a history of cancer, you're not a candidate. But that's actually not true. There's lots of women who are thriving on hormone replacement. And like I said, there's actually studies that show that quality of life after cancer is greatly improved and reoccurrence of cancer is greatly reduced for women on hormone replacement therapy, as long as it's bioidentical and it's in the right levels for them. So it is a possibility. But always do what you feel comfortable with. I would definitely read the book Estrogen Matters. And also there's another resource. There is a really amazing researcher and doctor. Her name is Dr. Lindsay Berkson. Dr. Lindsay Berkson. She's out of Austin, Texas. And she wrote a very extensive paper called Estrogen Vindication. You can Google it, Estrogen Vindication, Dr. Lindsay Berkson. And she actually talks a lot about hormone replacement therapy post breast cancer. And she personally has had breast cancer, and she credits hormone replacement therapy for how amazing her quality of life is right now. And when you look at her, you'll never imagine her age. But I'm not going to say her age, but she will say it if you talk to her or her website. But she's amazing. And she's a wealth of information. She lectures at a lot of the conferences that I go to. So really great resource. Estrogen Matters book by the oncologist and Estrogen Vindication, Dr. Lindsay Berkson. Such great research and actually laid out in a very easy to understand format. So if you're not someone that likes reading research studies, she's done an excellent job. I thought about writing up something about it, but she's already done such an excellent job that I don't even need to redo it. I always just send everybody to her information. Awesome. All right, let's see. I've had hormone testing before and been told things are in range. So just so you know, if you are in menopause and you get your hormone tested, you go to your doctor, and if your hormone levels are nothing, they're like, oh yeah, you're in range for menopause. And that's not what we want. We don't want to be in range for osteoporosis, in range for rapid aging, in range for hair falling out. We want to be in that range, but doctors say, oh yeah, you're in range, but maybe this is not what you're talking about. In 2019, I had a 1 month hormone test, so a cycle mapping test, and showed things differently. It was as if after my cycle, my body started all over again. I would have cramps, cravings, exhaustion. Let's see. Just like the week before the cycle, do you guys ever do whole month testing? Yeah, we actually offer that on our website. So if you go to glownaturalwellness.com and you go to shop, and then you go to lab testing under hormones, it's called the Dutch cycle mapping test. And that's a whole month-long test. A lot of times we'll recommend that for women who are not in perimenopause or menopause, but women who are a little bit younger, who are looking maybe for fertility or trying to understand wonky periods, but it can also be good for perimenopausal women as well. So what you're saying is estradiol can cause blood clots, but topical will not. So it's not just estradiol, it can be, so I mean, that probably is more, any oral estrogen can, so you have to take it orally and it has to go down through your digestive system, and then it has to get metabolized in the liver. And when it gets metabolized in the liver, clotting factors form, and that is what can cause stroke or increased blood clots. Topical hormones do not get metabolized in the liver. Topical hormones go into the skin, they go into the tissues, and they do not get metabolized by the liver before they get to the tissues. No clotting factors are formed. So that's why they're safer. Okay. All right. It is, let's see. Oh, we are like 2 hours in, and I still have quite a few 200 people on. I'm going to try to answer like a couple more questions, but I'm going to download the questions and I will just make a video answering the rest of the questions that are in the Q&A. So if you have your question over in the chat and I haven't answered it, go ahead and hurry up and put your question in the Q&A. And definitely I'm going to download those after this call, and I'll go through and I will make a video sometime next week, just answering the rest of the questions so you guys get those answers. And then I'll also schedule another Q&A sometime next week. Try to do it early next week. I am going out of town at the end of the week, but I'll try to do it maybe, let's see if I can get it on Tuesday. And that way I can get more questions answered, because obviously this is needed. Can other organs produce a low amount of estrogen postmenopausal, like the adrenal glands? So your adrenal glands will produce cortisol and DHEA. DHEA can convert to testosterone, and then that testosterone can do something called aromatize into estrogen, but you're going to have like super, super low amounts. So you're not going to have zero estrogen. We're going to have less than 10. And that's not enough to build your bones, protect your heart, help with hot flashes. It's a depleted state. So it's not zero, but it's a depleted state. What dose of estradiol patch? Why does the dosage of estradiol patch jump from 0.25 to 0.075? There actually is something in the between. I think it's 0.0375, but the patches I don't know why they do it with the dosing. It's very confusing for doctors and for patients to understand what that dose equals to. But yeah, and with the patches, you can cut them too, so you can customize the dose a little bit, but talk to your practitioner before you do that. Does replacing estrogen is beneficial for those with multiple fibroids? I've heard that estrogen can cause further growth. So estrogen dominance can cause growth of fibroids. Balanced hormones can cause shrinkage of fibroids. So you never want to just have one hormone. You want to balance hormones, and you want them. So if you're going to give estrogen, you want to give progesterone to balance it out. So estrogen dominant state is what causes overgrowth of like fibroids and things like that. Balanced hormones is where fibroids shrink. I actually have an article on my website for natural solutions to reduce shrinking fibroids naturally. So if they're not ginormous to a point where they're causing excruciating pain and you need to have surgical removal, then there's a lot you can do to shrink fibroids. A lot of times they shrink on their own, but lifestyle comes into play, but definitely balancing those hormones. Sometimes just the estrogen dominant state where you don't have enough progesterone to balance out that estrogen can be the issue. Let's see, I'm not seeing anything in my chat. Only my questions are showing up. So the Q&A is for me to see. So you probably only see your question. I don't know about the chat. I don't know if you guys can't see other people chatting. I thought that you could. So I'm not really sure if maybe that's your setting or that's my setting, but you should be able to see other people's chats. Is it short-term use or forever? That is completely up to you. Personally, I will stay on hormones forever. I know like people like Oprah, Gwyneth Paltrow, they're both saying that they'll stay on their hormones forever. They're totally safe to do. So yes, it is totally good. All right. So we are right at 6 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I hate doing this. I really feel bad because I see there's more questions and I know you guys need help. Kathy, email Kathy Deslauriers, Deslauriers. Yes. Email us at support@GlowNaturalWellness and ask that question. We can definitely help you. We do have some programs in place for you. All right. I'm going to wrap it up. I hate doing this. I am going to download that Q&A. So if you ask a question in the chat, so the chat bar, if you put your question in the chat, can you please pop it over into the Q&A? And that way I will make sure that I get that. And then, oh, I can download the chat too. Never mind. You don't have to do that. Just take it easy. You don't have to worry. Awesome. So I will get your questions answered. If in the meantime, you had questions about the Healthy Hormone Club that I didn't answer and you want to take advantage of that sale with the free bottle of Glow Below, which is a $99 value. It lasts 3 months. It's a full-size bottle. Email support@GlowNaturalWellness and let me know. I have a team standing by. So we have a great customer service team. Generally, it takes 24 hours to answer your question. And if for some reason the sale ends on Sunday or Saturday, Sunday, if you ask a question and we can't answer it for you for a couple of days, we'll still honor the sale. So don't worry. You're not going to miss out. Do not worry. We will take care of you. If you have an issue where you want to sign up, you want to take advantage of the sale, but something happened and you need an extension, just let us know and we will honor that too. Okay, guys? If you have more questions just about general hormones, general HRT, I am going to go ahead and post this replay on YouTube. So if you're watching the replay, post your question below and I will get to that answer as well. And we're going to send out the replay, like I said. And if you have any other questions, please just let me know and we will take care of you. All right, you guys, take care. Have a great night. I'm going to go make dinner for my son because he's probably starving and I will talk to you soon. All right, take care, you guys. Love you all. And like I said, I am going to get to all these questions, so don't you worry. Love you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.